Alright, hey YouTubers, for another quick video here. I thought I'd show one of the newer setups that I've been working on for saltwater. Just because I've recently gone through a newly acquired disease called Brostinellus hostilis. It kills fish in 3 days, and it managed to get into one of my systems. Reset up 2 tanks. This is kind of my last effort for something different. I thought I'd try out some coral and just some oddball stuff. So the first tank I want to show you is going to be the coral tank, or at least the attempt at a coral tank. Just a basic 10-gallon setup, not a whole lot to it. I do plan on adding more rock as time goes on, and the current inhabitants will not be here for very long. I do plan on moving things out and changing things around as always. However, the coral I would like to keep as it is, and hopefully it works out in the long run. But you just never can tell. So there's just a few different things that I've been trying out just because it's more basic, more easier stuff, and I've also been kind of pushing my luck a little bit just to see what I can get out of it. One of the corals that I really admire is going to be the Palythoas. Palythoas and Zoanthids are usually one of the more easier button corals to take care of. However, this one specifically glows bright green underneath the blue light, and it looks really freaking awesome. The other coral I'm a fan of is in the top left is going to be an Acan. Acans are another hardier coral. This one seems to be doing just amazing. Already had his feeding tentacles out not too soon after being added to the tank. And of course, with the Palythoas, you have the Zoanthids. I picked these Zoanthids specifically because the center of them really does glow. It's kind of a cool looking polyp. If you take a look towards the top of the colony, you can see there's a little bit more of a different coloration compared to the ones that are below them. So just really cool looking. It was something out of the ordinary. Now, of course, they're not all the way out as they should be. Newly added to the tank within the past 48 hours, so they're all just adjusting to it. But otherwise, there's a lot more out than what there was, and plus, I may have bumped a coral or two when I was inside the tank adding things. So I do plan on them being out because all my levels are clear, everything's fine, and hopefully the lighting seems to be up to speed with this coral specifically. Alright, next, this is one I'm kind of pushing my luck with, just because I'm not sure. This is going to be the fox coral. With the fox coral, I'm not really sure as to what I'm doing. I don't know a whole lot on them, but I know that they're pretty easy, pretty basic. Like lower lighting, I just hope it works out. He's not so happy right now just because I moved him around maybe twice, so that's why he's a little shrunken. And speaking of shrunken in corals, here's another patch of Zoanthids, which are brilliantly colored pink. Just really nice coloring to them. However, I haven't really seen a whole lot to them. I've also just recently pulled them out of the tank to see if I can't get that plant off of them, but we'll see how they turn out in the long run. So fingers crossed they'll come out looking good. Alright, some inhabitants that I'm added to the tank. You have the gold or blue-legged coral-banded shrimp, which is usually a smaller species of coral-banded shrimp. He's not going to be a permanent guest to the tank just because I have noticed some fin nips already on the Firefish, which also isn't permanent guest, but that already shows to me that I don't want him in the tank if I plan on adding anything smaller or different to the tank. I just don't want any problems with it, so it doesn't seem very bright either, but very cool looking. Very cool looking. Alright, and of course we've got hermit crabs inside the tank. We have 2 blue-leggeds, which you can see the one creeping along in the back. It's just something I added to the tank to help clean up at the bottom and get some parts out of the rock. And of course you have the red firefish. Beautiful fish, absolutely love him. The reason why he's not a permanent inhabitant to the tank is because he'll be going to a different location at my girlfriend's aquarium. And one of the bigger things that I always love, and I just brought up again about how I like the coloration, is the blue light and how much it brings out the different greens and different oranges and different reds inside of the coral. So as you can see with these guys, the camera doesn't do a whole lot of justice, but you can definitely see how that center is kind of popping out a little bit more. with the Palythoas, you can definitely see it's not just that usual brown tan, it's a bright green. The Acans, just a little extra purple. The lights I'm running are just two T8s, one by Zoomed and the other one's a usual fluorescent bulb, just to see what I can do. It's not the top quality LEDs that you're seeing nowadays, but I want to be able to see what I can do. And it's just a basic saltwater setup with just a simple hang on the back filter, no bio wheel or anything, just simple mechanical mesh or filter mesh to be able to hold my biological bacteria. I've got a heater which I have cranked up all the way just because it doesn't seem to heat worth snot and it's pretty old. And I also have a $15 pump from Petco that does one hell of a job for the price it is. So, alright. So that's going to be the entire setup with that. Next is going to be just the basic kind of mixed fish setup, I guess. Currently inside is going to be a Snowflake Eel. I picked this guy up maybe a couple months ago. It was just kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing. I've never really kept a Moray eel, so I thought I'd try him out. It seems pretty cool, pretty adventurous. The downside is he's picking at invertebrates and smaller fish. Not a fan. Also I have Coral Reef Catfish, small little bugger, kind of an oddball. That's the reason why I got him. I don't really have any complaints with him. I haven't really had any problems with him, so kind of tends to tuck back and looking for spots, looking for food all the time, so he's just kind of there. Very similar looking to the engineer goby. A lot of people get that confused. They look and they go, oh, stripes, engineer goby. Yeah, no, it's a catfish. Definitely a catfish, but I guess they become too big for people to want. And as you can see, I'm trying to grow macroalgae inside of the tank. It's going to be just a simple little planted tank, I guess. I don't want to do a whole lot with coral just because I don't want to have to worry about the stress of going from one tank to another, making sure everything's perfect. So this will be just my little refugium kind of tank. And we got the full shot, well, kind of full shot. As you can see, the eel kind of tucked away inside the rocks and the macroalgae on the side. I do plan on adding more fish to this setup specifically. Yeah, the glass needs to be wiped down a little bit. I got salt all over the front, but both tanks were set up at the same time, brand new water. I added some bacteria to the tank and I let it run for just an hour and it seems to be doing just fine. Of course, in the back I've got an aqua clear filter, a marine land heater, one that does not explode, fingers crossed. That's it. That's all it is, no power head. I don't want to put a power head in it just because I don't want the macroalgae catching up on the side of the power head, so you don't really see that problem with the reef tank, obviously. No algae? Plenty of algae. That's a big difference there. So, planning on seeing more videos in the future. This is just the start. I hope to have a lot more expansion as time goes on. That's really all I got, unfortunately. So, if you guys have any questions, leave them below. Subscribe, like, and pass it on the videos. See you guys.